My goal with this video is to put a line between the companies doing above $20,000 a month and the companies doing below. Because there are two very different things that these people, these different companies do, which I want to clarify for you. So why you're stuck below 20,000 a month with your window cleaning business, or it could be your regular cleaning business, whatever it might be, where you're going out to a residential customer and selling something sub $1,000 every time. This is relevant for you. So how window cleaners typically are getting customers so basically we collected a bunch of data. We had people answer, how are they getting customers right now? What are their biggest bottlenecks? All of these kind of things. Then we had about 60% of them on an interview, spoke with them, had them elaborate all of this. And that is the information that I will try to boil down to as concise of a text and video for you as possible, because I believe it will give you a lot of value if you're stuck with your business or if you just want to find out how to make more money. So the usual ways here are word of mouth, door to door, referrals, recommendations. Some people also advertising. They use Facebook, they use Google. Otherwise, it's Nextdoor, Thumbtack, Yelp, Angi, whatever, these platforms where you go in and you get leads. And essentially, the problem with these is actually something I want to go into with you. So this one here, obviously, is not very scalable. That's the same thing as recommendations or word of mouth. These two are pretty much the same, but typically people differentiate them for whatever reason. Door to door, this is not very scalable. So unless you're building a team that can basically knock for you, then this will be very difficult to scale. However, it is a good way of starting out because it teaches you a lot of sales skills and it basically gets you comfortable with your quick pricing and everything. So this down here, I know that a lot of people have tried this. And the problem with these type of platforms, especially something like Angi, is essentially what Angi will do is they will reach out, or they will have an ad placed somewhere. They will typically have a Google ranking where someone in whatever area goes in and they searches up window cleaning in whatever. Okay. Then they'll get to Angi's page and they will leave them their email, their phone number, their name, address, and they're like, yep, I want the 5 best deals on window cleaning in my area. And guess what happens? That lead gets then taken from the platform, sent out to, you and 4 of your competitors, or maybe even 20 of your competitors. Then all of you bid on it. Then Angi takes that and sends it back to the customer, right? So the problem with this is that essentially you're 20 people trying to reach one person, and that one person is not even looking for necessarily a quality service. They're just looking for the cheapest option to solve their problem right now. Guess why you can't close them? Guess why if you close them, you're getting shitty deals? Okay, this is because that is not exclusive leads. Okay. These are leads that are just giving out to other tradesmen in your area, okay? Whereas something like advertising, for instance, which you also, then you have the technical problems because you have to pay for it. And if you don't do it right, and if your ads are shit and all of this, then you just get expensive leads, right? So there are a lot of problems with these, but just to make the comparison, these are exclusive. And the reason for them being exclusive is because when someone sees your ad, they sign up to your ad with your offer. They don't sign up on Angi to get called up by 20 different companies. That's the biggest difference between these two. So how do these companies, if we were to just put a line in between the people doing more than 20,000 a month and the people doing below, what is the main difference between these two? It's quite interesting. I spoke with someone yesterday who actually sums this up very well. They were spending $2,000 on advertising just on different platforms, primarily Google, right? They were getting $20,000 to $25,000 back from that advertising. Now, how does that happen? It doesn't happen because that technical setup wasn't very good. That targeting wasn't very good. They didn't really have any fancy creatives. It's not like they had like the magic Facebook wand that you don't, or the magic Google wand that you don't, okay? It was actually entirely different. And I think they could have gotten much more out of it if they were actually looking into the platforms as well, because their leads weren't even cheap. But what they did after getting the leads is what actually made this whole thing so profitable. So to simplify it, what they did is essentially they ran Google and Facebook ads. So they got exclusive leads, right? They got people that wanted to speak specifically with them, not with their competitors, specifically with them. Then that information got fed to a VA/receptionist, who would call the leads, right? Would also take, if someone called inbound, they would answer as well. And basically just ask into how big is the home, how many windows do you have, blah, 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 and try to give them an estimate, okay? Once the estimate was given, they would set up an appointment, okay? At this appointment, they would go out, of course, give the accurate quote and then do the job, collect the money, blah, blah, blah. But what happens after is what is actually very valuable here. So once they go to the location for the quote and the service, after that service, after serving the customer, they send them a physical card with a thank you note. Now, this is not rocket science. It's not a new thing. But based off all of the people we spoke with, basically one very big difference is the companies who are making money, they do what it takes to leave a good impression on the customer. The companies who don't make a lot of money, they go like, postcards are $3 to $5 more expensive than if I just leave a door hanger by myself. So then blah blah. They boil it down. But guess what? If you have something generic versus something that is more personal, maybe even handwritten, and you have to choose between these two, both of them are leaving the same prices. Which do you pick? Okay, that's the main difference. I know it sounds very, very silly, like a small thing that wouldn't make a difference, but I promise you it will, because of all of the people we spoke with, those having the best business, those people making the most money are also the people who pay attention to this detail. Okay, so they would leave a physical card. Okay, some of them were handwritten. That would be cool if you could do that, but most of them would be using a service like SendGrid, for instance. You can basically get it printed. They'll send it out to the door. There are also services where they will actually handwrite for you and then send it out. And of course, the customer won't know that it's not actually your handwriting, right? So depending on how you feel about that, you could do that. 3 days later, you make sure they get an email with a link to where they can review you. So if you have a Google My Business, you have some sort of review page, you send them an email thanking them for their time and their business. And if they would be so kind, if they feel like you have deserved it, they can click this link and review you. Now, you can make a lot of flows from this as well, where if someone leaves a good review, you reward them, you send them something, or you maybe come do a part of a clean at a discount, or part of a clean for free, or even a whole clean for whatever it might be. It depends if it's a good customer for you or not. You can do a whole list of scores and everything for that. But at the very least, send them an email with a link so that they can actually go ahead and review you, okay? If you have a lot of customers, if you're struggling with keeping people happy, which unfortunately I know some of you are, then speak with them first. Figure out what you can do better, because if you send out a link to people that are not happy, well, then you're going to collect a lot of shitty reviews. You don't want that. You want to fix your business first, because you want to be delivering a good service. The best thing you can do is actually having a good service so that people speak about you naturally, okay? And that little bit of word of mouth you're getting if you're doing like 5, 6, 7K a month, that's not what I mean, okay? That's not enough. You got to be doing better. So upon sending the thank you card, you can use SendGen, for instance, to send out the card to the surrounding neighbors or nearest 10 addresses. So imagine you've just served someone, you send basically a postcard to the people around them, the 10 people around them, 10, 15 people around them. That gives the social proof, because you just served me and my neighbors. They know me. They're like, okay, they just served Dario. Okay, let's see what this is. And then you give them a good offer, because you know you're going to be coming out to the neighborhood again, right? You're already having work in that area, so you reduce the driving distance, all of that stuff, so you can make them a bit of a better deal, all of that good stuff. These people will speak about you. So you create your own little community of customers by doing this. Okay. So every time you serve a customer, you send them a thank you note. That needs to be personal as possible. After they get the thank you note, you send them an email. 3 days later, you send them an email with a link to review you. After they have reviewed you, what do you do then? You make sure that all of their, assuming that they were happy, right? You make sure that there are 10 surrounding houses. They also get a card with an offer for your service. That's it. That is literally it. That will, whatever advertising or lead buying that you are doing on the front end to get in the first customer, if you apply this to it, that will significantly help you turn one customer into 3 or 5 customers. So with that said, I hope this was valuable. I hope you got some insights from it. If you have any feedback, if you have any questions, please put it in a comment. I will be very happy to help you. And yeah, other than that, I wish you a beautiful day. Goodbye.